This is the most conflicted I've been on a movie in a long time. I mean, when I left, I didn't really know what to rate it, and while now I have a rough idea, I still don't even fully know if that rating will stick, or if I even agree with the rating that I myself have assigned to the movie. That's just how conflicted and torn I am on this. I will say, I definitely didn't have a strong negative reaction to it, but I also didn't have a strong positive reaction to it either. I'm basically split, torn somewhere in the middle completely. Because overall, I think I enjoyed it enough, but man, is it riddled with issues and drawbacks that I just could not ignore at all. I mean, just to kind of dive straight into one of the big things that really held this back for me is that this didn't feel like a movie as much as it did an episode of TV. There just isn't really a story to follow here at all. I mean, it tries, but it just loses the plot so many times. It's basically just a series of loosely strung together scenes and plot points, which makes it feel like something which doesn't belong on the big screen, and more like the pilot episode of a TV show. And so yeah, the story just absolutely sucks here because there is no story to really follow. And hey, I'm someone who loves Clerks. I mean, second favorite movie of all time. I love it so much. So I don't believe every movie has to have a super strong narrative. No, you can just have movies that just have a chilled out sort of relaxed vibe to them. But the issue here is that I don't think this is the type of movie that warrants that, especially since there's a big mystery element to this whole story and it's supposed to leave you intrigued. But you really don't care and start realizing very quickly that you're only really staying for fun characters and a mostly good comedy. I mean, I didn't really like any of the characters per se, but most of them were fun to watch. Chris Evans' character though, he was absolutely the most fun part of the entire thing. He's just so incredibly, I guess, over the top, and it makes him by far the funniest and most entertaining out of the bunch. And he even has the most coherent writing. Even if it's something to glaze or write home about, it is the most coherent writing we have in the entire thing. I gotta say, Margaret Qualley as well is quite good here. She gives a full enough performance which made her character enjoyable, even if she again wasn't well written. But it's just that thing, every positive I have with this movie, it comes with a caveat. Characters are fun, there's a lot of characters that aren't fun, and even the characters that are fun, they're not really well written. And I have to be honest and say that even as the biggest Charlie Day fan in the world, I mean, Always Sunny in Philadelphia is one of, if not my favourite show ever, but he just continues to be severely misused in Hollywood, both in the sense that he isn't in enough stuff outside of Always Sunny, and I personally feel he's very rarely cast right in Hollywood movies. And unfortunately, this is a prime example of that last part, because while it's nice to see him doing something like this, the character he's putting on just doesn't fit at all for what they're going for. I don't know, I couldn't quite put my finger on it. He just felt really off, not knowing entirely how to make the source material work, which is a shame really, because again, I love Charlie Day. I think he's absolutely amazing. You can just tell that he was struggling to make this work though. Also, Aubrey Plaza in this movie, I'm sorry, she was absolutely terrible. Not only are her scenes and lines of dialogue just the absolute worst here, but her character and the performance given by Aubrey Plaza on top of that were shockingly awful. I obviously don't really have clips to show most of her worst moments, but trust me when I say the worst moments are not in the trailer at all. And it will probably shock you how just bad she is in this movie. Again, I don't blame her, I blame the source material she was given to work with. Also, spoiler alert, I guess, if you care about spoilers for this movie, then this is your time, I've warned you. But there's a twist with a character and it doesn't work at all because, like I said earlier, the plot is extremely thin. So when the movie does try making any kind of shocks and turns or surprises, I simply just did not care, because it also goes without saying the character progression is just not very good. I mean, characters didn't go through arcs or changes. They pretty much end the movie the same way they start the movie, in the most unsatisfactory way possible. I'm also a believer that not every single movie has to be deep with enriching or enlightening themes. Some of them just don't have to have that at all. But the problem is, this is one of those movies that it thinks it has that, but I'm going to be so honest, I have no idea what this movie was trying to say at all, because it's trying to say something, I just don't know what the fuck it was. With all that negativity being said though, I do think this was an enjoyable enough ride. Even if it does all those things I mentioned wrong, I can't even put my finger on why. It was just simply an entertaining film, and it's really puzzling to me because of all of its issues. Like, how dare you be fun to watch? I'm supposed to be having a miserable time with you. I do think it helps that the most fun to watch characters are the ones that get the most amount of runtime, so a lot of the scenery is just chewed up by how entertaining they are, if not poorly written. Especially Chris Evans, who again just has some absolutely hilarious moments. If I'm honest, this movie overall I would say is pretty funny. While not every single joke's land and some fail miserably. I feel like they more often than not hit, and those moments that hit are genuinely pretty hilarious to me. This movie is also short, which I think helps, and yes, it does start to really drag on in the last act somehow, even though this movie's only 90 minutes, but it mostly felt like it flew by, and I'm happy it's short as opposed to being long. But if I'm honest, I don't really know if you guys can tell, but I'm just kind of struggling to talk about this movie, because like I said, by all accounts, yes, it's bad on a lot of levels, but still somehow manages to remain fun on an unironic level, and I just really don't fully know how I didn't hate watching this movie. And what I will say is that my rating for this one could honestly lower over time. I could 100% seeing this be a movie that has sours for me the more time goes on, and the more I think about it. So really don't be surprised if that happens, and if I come out later saying, actually, I didn't really enjoy this as much as I thought I did. So for the time being, I think I'm going to rate Honey Don't a 6 out of 10, and at least it didn't have any of the shitty editing that Drive-Away Dolls had.